What did you do for a living, Harry?
Well, I started after I got out of high school, or just before I got out of high school, I got a job working in a wholesale jewelry house. Of course, everybody knew my dad. They knew me. I used to come in there, and the boss of the Butterfield Brothers, which is the wholesale jewelry house, promised me that when I graduated high school, I had a job waiting for me there. This was a few months before I graduated. And so I graduated high school on a Friday, and on Monday I went to work in a wholesale jewelry house. And I worked there for a year. I graduated high school in 1931, and by the end of 1932, the Depression was, it didn't make any difference who you were or what you were once or how much you had, you were like that.
Yeah.
You can read about it in books, but you didn't go through it.
Yeah.
And that's when my dad opened his jewelry store. Yeah.
Well, then where did you go after that, Harry?
Well, he had a jewelry. He moved a couple of different locations, all in the same general area. But when he moved to 3rd and Alder, he was there for about 10 years before he died. And the story on that deal. But when my job fell through at his jewelry store, and then for several months I took whatever I could get. A day here, 2 days there. One day I sold shoes, and the next day I did this. Wherever I could do it, I worked in for myself, different things, whatever. I got by till I found this job with clothing manufacturing, ladies' coat manufacturing. And I started out working for them in towards the end of 1933, and I was an assistant shipping clerk. I stayed with the firm for 50 years. Of course, I wasn't always an assistant shipping clerk. I even became a full first-grade shipping clerk, and then moved up from there and went into management and traveled for the company, and everything was going fine for times until that industry, like all clothing of any kind, got to be where, well, any clothing that you wear, where is it made?
China, India.
Made in the Orient, made the countries you never heard of. And the labor cost is ridiculous, and where we had over 100 people working for us, actually we gave it up altogether, we had 12.
What was the name of the company?
Modish.
Modish?
Modish Coat and Suit Manufacturing.
Modish Coat and Suit.
Did you ever hear of Ivan Kafoury?
Who?
Kafoury?
Oh, sure.
Ivan Kafoury?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he was a clothing manufacturer, wasn't he, at one point?
Well, I think he was more of a distributor.
Oh, okay. His son ended up with a small dressmaking shop.
Yeah. Anyway, by the time I left, there was only we let all the workers go. We cleaned out everything. My boss had bought the building a few years earlier. It was a 5-story building downtown, and we had a part-time office girl, and my boss and I, and that was it.
Yeah, you closed the factory,
factory we cleaned out, we sold off everything that we possibly could. And we didn't have a scrap of material left. All the
What year was that,
machinery
Harry?
Huh?
What year was that?
The 70s,
70s?
Oh,
late 70s, I think.
no. 19, well, I left the company in 1933.
No, you didn't.
No,
You
you
started-
joined the company in
Oh.
33.
50 years later would
In
be
83.
83.
83,
83.
yeah. The end of 83 is when I left.
Yeah.
By that time, my boss had died. Everything would have been all right to a degree. That we had closed everything else and we leased all the space in the building.
Mhm.
We didn't have a vacancy, everything was paid on time, and we were making more money at the end of the year without having to lift a finger
Yeah,
than what
been working,
the headache of trying
manufacturing.
to do everything, buying the material, manipulating into something that somebody wanted, and then have to go out and try and sell it, and then after you sell it, try and collecting for it, you know, and here it comes in every month.